there's my hole, hopefully you can see that, and then I'm using the DADD crap collector. Hello? It's Chris the plumber, I've come to do your lights upstairs. Okay, thank you. Pardon? White coffee please. So here we are doing some lights today. Nice little one, I thought I'd film it for you. So, oh nice to see they've left my height chart out. Look. So today we've got to disconnect, remove this lighting pendant, and we're going to fit 2 spots. One here. Sounds like the postman's been. And same again here, we have got 1 spot, 1 pendant there that we're going to remove. I've not been to check what cable's between. So we can have a spot there which will light that cupboard up there and that doorway, and then a spot back here which will throw a bit of light into this cupboard here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get all the tools in. I'll see you in a minute. And just while I remember, this loft hatch, because this house has had a loft conversion, this isn't actually a usable loft as such, because it's been taken up by that, but I know there's a subfloor here which I will show you. You can sort of get above here, but what I've done is I've left my book out just to show you this. So there are installation methods of the cable sitting on the plasterboard, okay? So the one we're probably going to be going for today is this one, 101, and we're using a 1 mil cable installed in 101, so 10.5 amps. Obviously do your cable calculation, but 10.5 amps, this is on a 6 amp MCB in the board, which I will show you that as well. Okay, so what you can see here, I've dropped the roses down, and what they've actually done is put a 3-core and earth from here, so the black is actually disconnected. It literally runs along here, and it's disconnected in there. I guess they maybe were going to use the black as a feed to that cupboard, because this is obviously a neutral and a switch line, so that black could have become a feed, and then because there's no actual light in this cupboard in here, so they could have use that and drop that down. So I'll see why they did it. So what I'm going to do I should say, is rip that cable out which comes between here and here. I'm going to put a Wago box on here, 2 spots, 1 there, 1 there, always leaving distance of 300 from the wall and the smoke. So we'll have a bit of a measure up now, get you on the laps, and then we'll drill some holes and I'll explain what I'm doing. So what I'm doing first here is, I've just popped my head up in that loft, and I know that the timbers run straight down the side of there and 1 there, so I know I've got a pretty much free space here. Obviously I want to try and keep this 300 away from the smoke, on the edge of the smoke, so over here I'm okay, and then 300 off the walls. Okay, so we want to keep 1 over here and 1 over here, so I'll keep those 2 in line. And then I'll also keep this one centre of this corridor, so then as you look down there, those 3 will actually be centre of this corridor off of this wall here, because you've got a couple of different dog leg walls in here, so it's just nice to keep them in a straight line, okay? Right, so what you just see me doing there was marking up the ceiling in preparation. So what I've got is a long screwdriver here, it's like a bradawl, and all I do is put my screwdriver through the hole and then make sure that that's clear, but also do it on the 45 each way, because there might be a timber hiding just an inch away from there, so you want to stay clear. Bearing in mind this is a 63mm hole cutter, so you'd like it to be clear all the way around, okay? Obviously having a loft conversion, these are fire rated downlighters, okay? I've gone for the Lucicos, fire rated LED downlighter, hopefully you can see that. I'll go through the spec after, but these are insulation coverable, but I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. But if you're in a tight situation, what I'll do here is I'll put my hand up and move the insulation out of the way so it isn't covering the lights as such. So good thing is that one is lovely and clear, there's no timber there. And then hopefully this one is the same. Yep, so there's nothing there, nothing that way, nothing that way, nothing that way, and then hopefully there should be nothing that way. Right, so we're clear there. We're now good to drill these two out. I'll then spin the camera around and we'll mark those two out. So I've got you on the head cam now. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There it is. Don't know how much of a plonker I look. So I get a lot of people keep saying to me, oh, with these YouTube videos, do you think we're showing the homeowner too much? The question is, people are always going to do their own electrical work, no matter how much we hate it. Until it comes illegal for you to do your own electrical work, people are going to do it. So I'd rather show people the correct way to do things. So if they are ever going to copy or try and replicate the videos that we put online, I'd want them to be correct in such a way where they're not endangering anyone, okay? Let's turn that heating down, it's so hot in here. So there's my hole, hopefully you can see that, and then I'm using the DADD crap collector. Literally just goes on the hole there, and then it's going to catch all this, save it going on the floor, so I don't need dust sheets. I'll hover up at the end, any little minimal dust that goes on the floor, this is going to catch it, okay? Okay, so you end up with a nice clean cut there, and then obviously there's the insulation there, which I will have to sort of move about a bit. But all I do now is I've got a bag of rubbish there. What I'm going to do is I've got to fill these holes today, so I might drill these out, put these back in, these plugs that I've taken out, and then I can give them a skim fill, okay? So all I do is put him in the bag there, get my little bradawl, and then pop him out. Saves you taking the hole cutter out every time, okay? So there's one. Just quickly do that one. And then we can get on with the other two. I'll just get you on the laps for the other two, and then we can crack on. Okay, nice clean cut again. A little bit of plume, but not too bad. And obviously this is quite a new house, not sure how old, 7 or 8 years possibly. So the insulation in the loft isn't the actual horrible old school itchy stuff, yeah. There we go, so that'll be the first two spots. We'll Wago that, we will then wire some cables between, clip where we can, where it's practical, because obviously this is a subfloor which really is not accessible, and then we'll have to fish a cable, one here and one that end. Okay, as you can see, I changed my mind a little bit here. I hope the client doesn't mind, but that obviously is a smaller corridor to this, so I've put that centre of that gap because it would have looked stupid being off centre, if you like, this way, and then these two, 1, 2 running line, so that you've got an owl, and then this one kicks over to centre there. So I've changed my mind. What I'm going to do is keep this 3-core in because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit less work for me. I'm going to pull it back to this one, drop it in there, loop a cable from there to there. That will sort them two out. And then this one's obviously going to get a Wago box there, and I'll just take a cable from there to there. So we're going to quickly run down. Hopefully she's made me a coffee by now. I think she's gone out, so she might have left it on the side. Bless her. So fuse board is in this cupboard. Accessible. What do you think? Yeah. Anyway, let's get a light on. I wonder who did those spots. Sorry about the flicker. So the easiest way to tell which circuit you're working on, obviously we'd like to prove dead. In this instance, I can't lock this off as such because it's too inaccessible for today. But I'm in the house on my own. Hello? There's no one here, they've gone out. So what I can do is turn this off, shut the cover, shut this, and I'm happy to work on that, knowing that it's in this cabinet, okay? So quick way of knowing to put your lights on. So that light is now on, okay? And you might find with the downstairs lights to the upstairs that you've got 2 circuits, so just remember that one, okay? So we'll have a look what we got here. I can see, you can't see, but I can see one marked up lights 6 amp there. Let's have a look what that's done. No, that's still on, so it's not that one. What else we got? Split load. So that's downstairs. So you might find that they're wired on with the downstairs. Yes, so they're on downstairs lights, okay? Because generally, obviously this has been added on. So one light would have been on the downstairs to keep the switching the same. And then it's just been added across there. So these are actually on the downstairs lighting circuit, which is absolutely fine. So that's now shut. That is shut. I'll put that one back on. If I can get my hand in there. Like that. And I will then get my meter and just prove dead at the 2 pendants, okay? See, I've disconnected 1, 2 pendants, okay? So what I'm going to do is try and pull that cable back first into that one and then fish a cable across. I've got my CK rods in. These are quality. If you haven't got a set of these, you need to get a set. They do a lot of accessories, but they're quite pricey actually. So all I'm going to do is put a little piece of tape on the back of the cable just to hold the cable when I tie it on. Spinning round. Okay, so how lucky am I, eh? Let's have a look. What do you think? I know that there's a timber across there, so hopefully we can run next to it. If not, there might be some noggins in here, which will mean I will have to get up into the loft subfloor, which I don't want to do today. Okay, it's definitely some sort of timber there. Oh, great. No, that won't go. That's gone. Is it? No. Let's try back that way, and then that will confirm that I think there is a timber in the way. There's a timber there. Put a noggin in. Put a noggin in. What would I have to do? Jump up in that little loft and have a look. Great. I'm not actually sure. I didn't actually go up in the loft. I poked my head in there and then thought better of it for today. I just poked my, let me just check that you're on. You're on. I just went again that way and it came out first time. It's strange, isn't it? All I'm doing is using the cable reeler. If you haven't got a mate, then you need one of these. It just makes it easier, especially if you're doing long pulls. This is a short little thing, so just tape him on. Yeah, I can't justify the extortionate price for the cable sock, to be honest. So once I give that a pull, that will run through the hole, and then he'll pop out here, just there. Look, there he is. Okay, give him a twist, and he should run through. Obviously, you've got to treat this as a floor because it's not really accessible. So it would be nice to clip the cables to the beams, but it's just not going to happen, to be honest. So all I'm going to do now is, you see there, I'll cut that off, sort of leave a little bit of length for the downlighter, and I'll find this cable and I'll pull it back to that hole, okay? But first I like to get this off, like so. Right, I changed my mind again. I stripped that free core out. Was this pointless? Just chucked him there. Here you go in the scrap pot, and I've pulled the cable across, managed to get it here. And this is the subfloor that I've been telling you about, okay? It's a subfloor where the loft's been done. Okay. So it's not really accessible, horrible little space. So what I'll do, I can clip this one along this timber here, and then it runs around the back here, and then there's the pendant, which is there. It's just here, so the Wago box will be mounted up there, and then I'll link some twin and nurse between those two as well. Okay, that makes sense. That was horrible. I had to sort of semi-stand on the steps, which you shouldn't really do, but in this instance I had no choice. Body was up in there, I had to sort of lay up there to get these two cables dressed in nicely. As you can see, all four wired now, and there's a cable, you can't see it, but it's hanging out there. He's going to go up in the box up there, okay? So Wago box and some load of connectors, etc. Okay, so he'll get mounted up there. Classic homeowner mistake when you've got, this is called a 3-plate system, so you wire in, wire out, switch wire, which will go down to the switch. The blue is always the switch line, so the brown is the feed down, the blue is the switch back, and you always, homeowners or DIYs always drop the brown sleeve in off of the blue there, and then they put that neutral in with the neutrals, and then wonder why they switch the light switch on, it blows, because you've put the switch line into the neutrals. Okay, so just remember to keep that one with the sleeving on. In old installations it will be black with red sleeving, okay? Didn't film the Wago box, it's up in there, it's nasty up there. Didn't want to film that, didn't want to show it. This is horrible, I want to get out of there as quick as possible. I love these, a lot of people don't like them. Not sure why, I don't know if they're using them incorrectly or correctly, but I just want to show you how quick and easy it can be just to get a downlight put on that cable, yeah? So you need two tools with these Lucy Co's. You need a small PZ1 screwdriver and a pair of strippers, yeah? Unbox him, take the bezel off. A lot of people struggle with these. What I will say is, see that? Take that off, okay? Comes off easy, yeah? So there's no need to struggle with that now, is there? So all we have to do is, we go, kapow, straighten him out, kapow, a bit more, make sure that he's flush, kapow, bit of sleeving. A lot of people say to me, do you need to sleeve those? You do. You'll find that a lot of people don't even connect the earths, to be fair. What you don't want to do is drop the sleeving, because it's annoying. And then inside the light there, you've got a little len, so live earth neutral. Get him nice and straight like this. Get him lined up like that. Get him in. Squeeze him down. Push him in. That's it. How easy was that? No struggle, no long nose pliers needed. Okay, put your cover back on. Click him as far as he will go. Screwdriver. Tighten him up. And then you'll hear him clicking as we go. That means that he's biting down on the cable nicely. Shut the ends up. Job done. How quick was that, yeah? Easy as that. So I'm now going to get on with the last three Obviously when you insulation resistance test this, these are wired in downlighters, so I don't know, what do you put, limb or test your cable before you wire it? Sometimes you can pull a loop then test the cable. Yeah, it's an awkward one, but obviously you can put a piggyback lead on your insulation resistance tester, go between live and neutral together and earth, and just go between earth and neutral. Okay. I'll do it on the 250 then the 500, but I'll get these up, second fixed, get them on, and then I'm going to show you how to make these holes good. Okay. Right, lighting is all done. It's going to flicker. I know it's going to flicker, but I think you'll agree they look nice. Sorry about the little slight flicker. So I'm leaving the bezels off because I've got to paint around these lights, make this good, paint that, sand that and paint that, and then also paint this bit of ceiling that's not matching. So I'll have to cut in, paint, then I can put these bezels on after. That's the beauty of these, you can paint and then put them on after, okay? So when I've done all that, I'll see you in a minute, but I will just run you through filling this one little hole here, okay? Right, I'll just show you a quick and simple way of, let me turn them off, filling that hole. So what I've got is a little piece of broken off plasterboard, and those two worm fixings, I leave them in, okay? Leave them in, I'll screw them up because they're going to fill the holes, and you can put a skimmer filler on those, okay? See that little hole there? Plug that with a plasterboard, okay? And give it a little tap, like so. And he'll sit in that hole for you, like so, okay? Next, get your filler, which is, my preference is it's 2 pret. 1 coat fill. I should have a little bag here. So I'll get this mixed up and get it skimmed on, okay? So all you need is to pick yourself up one of these tubs, 99p or £1 from Toolstation, and then 5 of these spatulas for 2 or 3 quid, I think it is. Very, very simply, mix yourself up a little bit of filler. Okay, not too much, this stuff does go a long way. Yeah. So there's sort of 2 stages to this fill-in process. The first being, you literally just want to get these holes filled, okay, like that. Hopefully you can see that. And then that one where we put the plasterboard, that's just going to hold it for you while you fill. So get it to that stage, take that excess off, like so. Right, you want to leave that now, go and work on your other one, give that 10 minutes, and then come back and then literally give it a final swipe with this, a tiny sand and a paint. So luckily I'm painting the ceiling, so you'll see the actual end result of this one, okay? Thank you very much. So yeah, just been brought some tea and toast. Bloody about time, to be honest. It's been at least 25 minutes before I've had one. Cup of tea, that is. This is the one swipe, I call it. It won't be one swipe, but get that old bit off. It's going off a bit actually. Put a bit on there, like so. And then it's big enough to do a swipe like that, and then you'll get a nice smooth finish on it. And then because I'm painting the doorway. I'll just chuck a bit of white paint on there. There we go. Trying to get this epoxy job done, and all my batteries are now flat on my GoPro, so I'm halfway through finishing and I can't film it because I need to let them charge now, so great. Well, I'm jumping on my phone because my GoPro is completely flat. As you can see there, I've given that a fill. I've put on more than you want to because you want to have a bit to feather the ceiling into, so that's what you want it to look like. I'll take you over here and show you this one, which I'm just about to give it a second swipe. Okay. So again, I've got a little bit on my bit there. It's a bit there. So give it some swipes. Okay. It'd be easier if I had two hands. Let me come back. There we go. That's had its final fill. That'll just need a slight sand in about 25 minutes, and then I'll paint it. So there's the patch. I've given it a second pass, a fill with a block of wood. Okay, that's actually lovely and smooth now. That's just that blob of filler that's probably slightly wet, but you can now paint this now. There we go, there's that patch. You can just about see it, but if you come down here, you cannot see absolutely anything. That'll dry and be invisible. And there's the other one down there just drying, okay? So that wraps up this job pretty much. So when this video comes out, I'll probably hit 30,000 subs, so thank you to everyone. I think it's 30,000 subs and 5 million views in total, which is amazing, which blows me away, to be honest. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thanks for liking the videos. If you found this one interesting, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't like the video, please feel free to go onto online forums.